Sanjoy, Oprah really wants to do this under the radar. Jaipur, you can set the festival against these palaces. But I thought if he heard a story, it would change his life forever. And I remember when Oprah was about to go on to stage, she turns around to me and she said,
Welcome to At Work on Connected to India. My name is Himanshu Verma, a show where we de-layer ideas, concepts, and professionals at work. In this edition of At Work, my guest is Sanjoy Roy, founder and CEO of Teamworks, as well as the most popular English literature festival of India, the Jaipur Lit Festival, which is going to turn 20 in a couple of years. Sanjoy Roy, welcome to At Work.
Good to see you, Himanshu. It's been a long time, but I'm glad that your this podcast has been doing so well, and many congratulations.
Thank you very much, Sanjoy. How did you originally come up with the idea? How did you think of the literature festival?
Years before we set up the Jaipur Literature Festival, as you know, we were primarily looking at creating platforms for talent across the world. And one of the festivals that we were very well known for is our work at the Edinburgh festivals. And in 2000, 2001, two people from Jaipur, Faith and John Singh, they had come out to Edinburgh and they were convinced that this is what they needed to do in Jaipur. They saw the way that arts created value for built heritage. And John was very involved with preservation and conservation of built heritage. So they said this is a perfect way of providing value for those people who had old havelis and palaces and homes and gates and walls, etc. And so we helped set up their then Jaipur Virasat Heritage Festival. And within that, Namita Gokhale and William Dalrymple used to program a literature segment, which few people used to come to. And then when the larger festival, when the Virasat Festival went south, Namita, William, and we decided that we would take the literature segment and create what we now know as the Jaipur Literature Festival.
People are not supposedly reading as much as one can imagine as people used to read a couple of decades back. Why has JLF done so well, and how does it continue to grow?
Our program is really very eclectic. William has access to all of the international writers. Namita has access to all of the Indian language and writers from the East and the Far East. And I look at the economic, political, philosophy, all of that segment. So collectively, the program has been really very exciting. So that's at the heart of the festival. The
Yeah.
second is because of our experience that we've had across the world, even before we started the Jaipur Literature Festival, we do about 30 odd or 33 odd festivals. So we've taken some of the learnings from there and the fact that in Jaipur you can set the festival against these palaces and forts and really showcase the legends of India in that sense of the word and its diversity and its heritage. So it's a mix of all of that that made it successful.
I'm curious about the audience, the mix which comes physically to the literature festival. Keen to know whether younger people are reading a lot, and what's the age band who flock, to the festival every year.
Our focus has been, focused towards the young people. So 80% of our on-ground footfalls are below the age of 25. And then you have a slightly older narrative. You have lots of corporates. You have, of course, a lot of people from Delhi, Bombay, Gurgaon, and Jaipur and Rajasthan itself. But also internationally, people fly in from across the world. So it becomes a great melting pot.
What can people expect in 2025 JLF?
Well, 2025, like every other year, has a great program. It's online. Do check it out. It's on www.jaipurliteraturefestival.org. We've got a slew of Nobel laureates, Booker Prize winners, Pulitzer Prize winners. There's a big focus on crime fiction. There's a lot on environment, great music, both morning music and evening music, food, merchandising. Looking forward, Himanshu. I do hope you're going to be coming there and reporting live.
Well, hope so. Coming towards the end of this discussion, Sanjoy, what are the 4 to 5 words which come to your head when it comes to your favorite child, the Jaipur Literature Festival?
Like I said, for us, when we started Himanshu, we were very clear that democratic access was our primary purpose. We wanted this accessible to everybody. And in the fourth year of the festival, um, we had put into place security. Oprah Winfrey was coming, Salman Rushdie was going to come. We'd put into place security, and we open our doors at 7:30 in the morning because we have audiences that start streaming in. And a man and a boy walked through the Haveli gates of Diggy, and they were stopped because they didn't look like they belonged. And because I was there, I walked up and I said, "Can I help you?" And the man said, "You know, I sleep on the pavement down the road in front of the SMS hospital. And I know that I'll never be able to send my son to school, nor be able to afford to buy him a book. But I thought if he heard a story, it would change his life forever. And I hear you tell stories. And that's the reason why I came, and I'm so sorry." And he turned to go. And I said, "No, this is who the festival is for. And that's really what we do, tell stories. And these are stories that connect us. These are stories that look at the world differently. They look at the world through empathy. They look at the world through a human perspective that makes us different."
That's really interesting, Sanjoy. I almost committed sacrilege by not asking you a question around Oprah. So I'm glad you mentioned her name again. How was it engaging with her? And what were her reactions? Did she expect? Because generally speaking, Americans at the time when Oprah had come, even now, are not very world aware. So, what were her first reactions? First, when you approached her, that you do something like JLF in India?
So, Himanshu, the funny thing is, we got an email from Deepak Chopra saying, "Would you consider inviting Oprah?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, we'll consider inviting Oprah." Of course, we wanted to invite Oprah. And like you said, they had no idea of what India could or would be, to the extent they were planning to shoot in Dharavi. And one of the executives said, "So Sanjoy, Oprah really wants to do this under the radar. So is it okay if she comes with, two outriders, a stretch limousine, and she'll wear a hat and sunglasses, and we hope nobody will recognize her, right?" And I'm like, "In Dharavi, you're not going to get a pin inside, let alone two outriders, let alone a whatever." And when they came in, for them it was really challenging, and because they had no idea, like I said. And I remember when Oprah was about to go on to stage, she turns around to me and she said, "Sanjoy, I don't know how you've convinced me to do this. There are these thousands of people, and there was a sea of humanity. There must have been 17, 18,000 people in that venue that day." She says, "Typically when I do my conversations, there are 500 people who are handpicked. I know who's going to be asking which question. All of it has been rehearsed 20 times, and I'm in control. Here I'm not. And you've put me in conversation with, the equivalent of a barracuda and a great white,
Yes,
which you're referring to,
the
Barca."
most ferocious journalist in India.
Yeah, but it was the most amazing. She was so generous with her time. She was so generous with her answers, and it really, in many ways, brought all of America to understand the Jaipur Literature Festival. It was quite amazing.
Hey, Sanjoy, thank you very much. Wishing you good luck for 2025 and 20 years and way beyond. Thank you very much for speaking to us and good luck.
Thanks, Himanshu. Look forward to seeing you in Jaipur. Thank you, folks. Looking forward to welcoming you all at the 18th Jaipur Literature Festival.